Welcome to the magician's other nephew, the epilogue, 3 taps. So 6 months had passed, which seems a very ordinary span of time when one writes it down, but which can contain a multitude of change when one has been imprisoned for 55 years in a place where time doesn't really function properly. Professor Digory Kirke stood outside his lecture hall at Cambridge on a bright April morning, his hand raised to the door frame in a gesture that had become habitual. Tap, tap, tap. "You're doing it again," said Matthew, approaching with 2 cups of coffee, for he had acquired a taste for coffee during his recovery. It seemed to him that tea reminded him too much of the thin, bitter water that he had drunk in the grey. Force of habit. Good habit, Matthew smiled, a real smile, the kind Digory had begun to see more often as the weeks passed. Ready? Digory looked at his brother, really looked at him. Still too thin, yes, still haunted sometimes with moments when his eyes went distant and his hands began tapping faster as though some part of him were back in that terrible place. There were lines in his face that would never fade, and he still slept poorly, but he laughed more each day, much more. He'd begun reading again, not just to stay awake, but for pleasure. He took walks in the gardens, particularly in the sunshine. He'd made friends with several of Digory's colleagues at the university who found him eccentric but a little charming. And most nights now he slept without waking in terror. His hands were finally still most of the time. "Yes," Digory said, ready. They raised their hands together and tapped the door frame once, twice, 3 times in perfect unison before together entering the lecture hall where students waited to hear about myths and legends and the old stories that contain more truth than history ever does. Brothers, equals, finally home, and somewhere in a place that lies between all worlds, in a wood where time is always morning and the air smells of growth and possibility. There's a pool that had been grey, but slowly, imperceptibly began to shimmer with light and possibility again. The end. This is in memory of the deep magic, the deeper magic, and all the words that bring us home. I do hope you enjoyed The Magician's Other Nephew, and there's more to come. Thank you.